What do you have a fixed mindset about? Do you have a fixed mindset about particular things? Fixed beliefs, fixed thinking habits, thinking patterns. For example, do you think, I'm a born worrier? It's just me, it's just who I am, I can't change it. Do you know what? I just can't cope. I can never cope with these situations. I'm not creative, I just can't. I can't do all of that sort of stuff. Those kinds of things, those kinds of fixed thinking ideas that we have about ourselves, about the world, or about others. And if you think back to the previous week's should thinking video, that's an example of fixed mindset. Should thinking. It's applying rigid patterns to our minds. So the question is, not so much do you have a completely fixed mindset about everything. Some of us may struggle with that. However, I tend to think that many of us struggle not so much with totally fixed mindsets, but with elements within our thinking patterns that are fixed through our upbringing, through what we were told as kids, through experiences that have reinforced those things. So here's 3 things to think about in relation to fixed mindset to encourage you to move towards what is called a growth mindset. And what I mean by a growth mindset is that acceptance of the reality that we can change, we can grow, we can expand and improve in so many areas of our life. And in future videos, I'll give you some tips on how to shift from fixed to growth mindset. But for now, 3 things to think about for fixed mindset. Number 1, no matter how rigid or embedded a thinking habit appears to be, or how fixed we feel we are in relation to a certain belief or attitude or style of thinking. There's nothing I can do, I'm just a worrier. That kind of thinking. No matter how much we think that we are fixed or stuck or victim of these thinking patterns and habits, it is worth taking solace and comfort and hope from science and the latest research into mindsets, from brain research, from psychology. Carol Dweck, the author of a great book called Mindset, explores the fixed versus growth mindsets fantastically and provide some great evidence to support it. Some examples of some great research that's being done with adults and children in all sorts of fields, from education through to dating, to learning, to creativity. And there is clear evidence that our brains have the ability to change and to grow and to develop with practice. So we can shift those fixed mindsets. Number 2. It's actually good for us to develop our growth mindset, not just for our physical, emotional and psychological well-being. And in fact, that's a massive, because if you think about some of the ways that a fixed mindset can weigh you down, can limit you, can hold you back, can grind you down. If I believe I'm a born worrier and I can't change that, just imagine, and it has happened to be fair, the years of grinding myself down I experienced because of that belief that I couldn't change myself, that I couldn't change that worry pattern. And actually, through hard work, practice and persistence, I have shifted that mindset. So whilst I might slip back into the worry patterns from time to time, I know to catch myself and then shift into a more positive frame of mind to challenge that worry, as I've suggested in previous videos. So we can shift our mindset to growth, and it's good for us. It can lead to better health, physical, emotional, psychological. It's also great for our development and our achievement and our fulfilling of our goals and dreams, if you like. Because fixed mindset can often trap you into working certain ways, believing certain things, and not stepping out into taking chances, into pushing yourself, into being willing to fail, into exploring new situations and experiences. And that's where a growth mindset can come into its own. If you particularly want to achieve something, then it is about challenging the fixed mindsets that may be holding you back, because you can achieve more, you can do more through persistence, through a willingness to learn and grow, to make mistakes, to learn from them and to move on. And number 3, it's actually worth bearing in mind that having a fixed mindset in what might appear to be positive things can actually be quite limiting and even debilitating. So for example, if perhaps you know somebody or yourself were brought up to believe you're a genius, you're very clever, you're naturally gifted with maths, you're naturally gifted in writing, you're a gifted artist, you're born to be a painter or a musician or a writer. Now, that can on the face of it sound great. And if it's something you want to do, having a certain amount of belief in your abilities is healthy. However, research into fixed mindset people who have those kinds of positive perspectives of themselves can often reveal that they are not necessarily well equipped to deal with setbacks, obstacles, and don't necessarily orientate themselves to the need to practice, to persevere, to keep onward and improving. And actually, that belief that you're gifted at it, when you hit an obstacle or a barrier, there is a temptation to give up because you feel you're not up to it, because your intelligence isn't up to it. And actually, things like intelligence, creativity, just like everything else, can be developed, can be grown through practice, persistence, and learning. And it's recognizing that positive or negative traits, positive or negative beliefs about yourself with a fixed mindset isn't necessarily healthy. So in future weeks, I'm going to be looking at some tips on developing a growth mindset. So in the meantime, just think on what might you have a fixed mindset in. Recognize that you can shift it. It's actually good for you emotionally, physically, and psychologically. It can open up opportunities for growth and development and achievement. And actually, there may be a downside to having a positive fixed mindset.
Learn the 6 steps to putting stress in its place by visiting timeouttoolkit.com and claiming your free ebook, Emergency Stress CPR.